Fernandes is somebody that he rates, obviously. He's given him the captaincy band. He's going to be playing every week, whatever position. He's in a deeper role here, which I think suits him much better. Certainly if you've got, more offensive players in the side. But you're right. The big thing there for us is really Palmer. We'll come on to that a little bit later, Michael and myself. But it's good to see him playing, I think, in behind, in the hub of the team. He's grasping still. And a lot of Chelsea... That's why I thought Pochettino would have stayed. I don't understand the situation as it was, whether it was he was sacked or whether it was they come to an agreement, because the back end of last year, they looked like they had some stability. They looked like they had a balance in their team. There was some confidence in the team. And suddenly that's all been taken away and off we go again. It's a rebuild. And I said last week, it's about a house, really. And they're going to the foundations. And they've got to build the house from the foundations where they were already putting a few walls in and a few bricks and building this thing up.
Yeah.
And it's just been taken away again.
And to counteract that negativity... should we take on board the fact that they did win in Europe in midweek? I mean, I know it was in the playoff of the Europa Conference League against Servette, a couple of goals there at Stamford Bridge, but also were there positives from the Manchester City performance to take from?
Yes. Yeah, there were. It wasn't a bad performance by Chelsea. I do feel as if today the pressure is on, though, because this is a game that Chelsea fans will look at and think, right, OK, well, we're going to be worth anything this season and challenge for the top four. We should be beating Wolves. They haven't got a great record in recent times, as you mentioned before, Manish. The result in midweek would have helped, but it's all about the Premier League, I think. And Chelsea fans will accept Manchester City come into town, not easy. If you can get something, get a result, then fine, great. But this is a game really where now all of a sudden the pressure is on them. Going away from home is never easy in the Premier League. This will be a tough game, but they have got the players certainly to win it.
Have a look at Chelsea's squad depth, and I know this has been clearly one of the main talking points as far as Maresca's Chelsea's concerned, Glenn. I mean, I don't know how you would manage a squad of about 40-plus players. I mean, according to some reports, he's got to ship off 15 before Friday's transfer deadline.
It seems that way, doesn't it? I mean, look at that. That looks like an London Underground station when you get lost where you're going to go. How many players is that in each position? They've got 3 teams there. They really have, and it's impossible to manage that group of players. It really is. All professionals, all wanting to play. It's just impossible. And they have to, for the sake of the manager and the club and the energy of the training ground. I mean, where'd you put all them on a training ground for the changing rooms and whatever?
Well, he says he only deals with 2021 and the others are part of a very different group.
I mean, that is it. It's unbalanced. There's a disharmony straight away. And if there's a house, divided, it'll always fall. Without a doubt. So that is impossible for any manager. You could put the best managers all together as a robot going there. Ferguson, Klopp, Pep, going there, and you would not be able to manage that club at the moment with those amount of players.
Do you have some sympathy, Glenn, with your manager's hat on for Maresca?
Well, not only for Maresca, but for all them other...
for those players?
For the last 2 years. No, for the managers that have gone in there. It's been an impossible with Potter, with all of them. Poch had the same problem, and now this looks even more. It's even worse. It's even harder. What I think he is doing is I think he's going to cut his cloth and say, right, he's out. I want him out, and so be it. And he's got to. But the energy down at the training ground, very difficult.
It begs the question, doesn't it? Where if every manager is feeling the same way in terms of I can't manage 40-something players. Who is buying these? But there can't be any harmony between or any communication between the board and whoever's buying them and the manager to say, hang on a minute, it's incredible, an incredible situation, and that's just forgetting about the cost of things as well. I mean, I dread to see their wage bill. I dread to see, how they're balancing the books there. But as you mentioned before, there's certainly going to have to be a dozen or so players that are going to be shipped out before the transfer deadline shuts.
Well, let's hear from the manager himself, actually, Glenn, before Gary O'Neill. Let's hear from the new Chelsea boss, Enzo Maresca.
Well, Enzo, we've just seen your team news. A couple of changes to your lineup. We noticed Romeo Lavia's missing. What's the news on him?
No, he had a small problem, hamstring irritation. We see, hopefully it's nothing important.
Hopefully nothing serious given the problems he had last year.
Exactly, yeah.
What are you expecting to see and what do you hope to see from your team different to last week against City today?
No, just to continue to improve. As I said during the week, the game against City, I think we were quite good. But now it's just a matter to see the improvement of the team. That I think in this moment is the main thing.
You've got Pedro Neto on the bench back at his old club. You've got João Felix on the bench as well. He knows the club, of course. He doesn't know all the players, maybe. How much time have you had with him this week to get him ready?
Both they are ready. For sure, they are the last arriving. So probably they need a bit more time to not to adapt, just to understand a little bit more the way we want to play. But both they are ready.
Thanks, Enzo.
Thank you very much.
It's a new season, and as always, it's a new Chelsea. But can you look back at last season and think, look at those two games, this is what we're capable of, and do that again?
Yeah, I think we showed it in other matches. Of course, the Chelsea ones were good games for us, but the following season doesn't really. The two games will be very, very different, I'm sure. So it'll be a big test for us. We need to be as close to perfect as we can. We'll have to be resilient at the times because they'll have moments. I'm sure even if the game goes into the latter stages, there'll be a lot of attacking changes that they make, and we're going to have to be very, very good for a long time today to take our first win. But that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, Gary O'Neill going into today's fixture with Chelsea in decent heart, having won the last 4 league meetings against the West London club. And after the break here on Matchday Live, we'll take a closer look, now that the teams are in, at how Chelsea can possibly come away from Molineux with all 3 points, and how and who they'll look towards. No doubt Cole Palmer will be amongst those danger men that Wolves will want to look out for. And he'll be under the spotlight in just a few moments.
अपने नाजायज संबंधों को लेकर फिर से चर्चा में है।
You know, he never deserved you. I truly feel you should embrace that sympathy.
नाम क्या बताया उसका?
नागेंद्र।
चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए।
इस आइलैंड पर हमारे अलावा और कौन रहता है?
कोई नहीं, बस हम और हमारी तन्हाई।
ऐसा लगता है जैसे कई राज है जो इस घर की दीवारों में दबे हुए हैं।
There is no Raz, baby. These are just gaps in your memory.
कौन है वहाँ? ये घर हॉन्टेड है नेहा। मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि जो मेरे घर को हॉन्ट कर रही है वो स्पिरिट किसकी है?
जैसे सिर्फ एक ही सूरज है, एक चांद है, एक ताजमहल है, वैसे ही एक ही अमुधा कहते हैं।
मेरा पूरा परिवार यहाँ के सांबर का बहुत बड़ा फैन है।
अमुधा उनावगम।
हम तो यहाँ पर सिर्फ इनकी चटनी के लिए आते हैं। हमें बाहर भेजकर वो किचन में कुछ तो जादू करते हैं,
लेकिन काम होने के बाद
चटनी बेहतरीन लगती है।
और सांबर क्या कमाल का लगता है।
वो क्या अपन को ब्लैकमेल करने की कोशिश कर रहा है?
पिछले 3 महीने से बिस्तर पर है।
कौन रे?
पापा।
साले को 2 चप्पल मार के काम पे भेज।
The greatest athlete in the world is Trudy Ederle.
I've decided to swim the English Channel.
She'll die in that water.
Don't let anyone take me out, no matter what.
Young woman MSc.
Good?
You feel good?
Let's see. We're open.
Let's fly or have a telly.
Enjoy.
Fly or Wagyu.
Take your time. Just bear with us one more second. Refire! I'm getting drilled out there. We're in!
This is a dysfunctional hit ship.
Show me a functional one.
कसबे एक बहुत बड़ा क्रिमिनल है।
मैं बहुत फेयर आदमी है। मैं इतना फेयर रात को चमकता है मैं।
क्या तू अर्जुन है अर्जुन है तू
नम्मी इमेज बनाना ना बहुत मुश्किल होता है।
ऐसा ही होता है, सारे मर्द एक जैसे होते हैं।
बता हम क्या
सीधे आंटी के पास जाइए और उन्हें सब सच बता दीजिए।
मुझे पहले ही सरस को अपने अतीत के बारे में सब कुछ बता देना चाहिए था।
कैसे इतने सालों तक मुझसे छुपा कर रखा?
हम जिसे चाहते हैं वो हमेशा हमारे लिए परी की तरह होता है।
उस लड़की की माँ से प्यार करते थे आप। एक काम करती हूँ, मैं एक किताब लिख माई परफेक्ट हस्बैंड, फिर तुम्हें पूरी लव स्टोरी पता चल जाएगी।
Welcome back. Chelsea fans around the world hoping that today is the day the Enzo Maresca era at the football club is up and running with their first points of the new season. They're away to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Lots of questions around this team selection, the squad selection, but we know about what Cole Palmer can bring to the party, Player of the Year last season. But what about his role in the wake of what we saw against Manchester City in the opening fixture, Michael?
Well, exactly that, Manish. Me and Glenn covered the first game and we saw Cole Palmer shunted out onto the right-hand side, which was obviously raised a few eyebrows, let's say, because when you've got a very good player, when you've got, you know, your best player, let's say, and he had such a good season last season, the last thing I would have thought, Glenn's been in the hot seat before, obviously numerous times, but Glenn, I would have thought the last thing you do is you put your best player in a position that doesn't necessarily suit him best.
He's the most effective player that Chelsea had last season. There's no doubt about that. And that was playing in the what I call the hub of the pitch, playing in that sort of just off the striker, in that 10 role as a midfieldish player, and then allowed to go left and right and roam. And when you play in that position as well, Michael, what you do is you get hundreds of touches of the ball, not being isolated on one side where you're going to get a ball every now and again if someone's good enough to hit it out wide early. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that go against Palmer playing so wide.
Well, let's have a look at a few of his clips from last season, just to paint the picture, Manish. There he is on the ball as we speak, and this is him, of course, playing in a central position, one that, I mean, if it wasn't for Phil Foden, I think this lad would have been the player of the season last season, and that's in a team that's really struggling, which was quite incredible. Again, we pick him up in this position, Manish, in that sort of number 10 position, and he's free, as Glenn said, free to do what he wants. He can come short, he can run in behind, he can drift to the left or drift to the right. This is if it wasn't for Garnacho's overhead kick at Goodison for Manchester United last season, that would have got my pick as the goal of the season. Quite incredible. And again, just to highlight him, here he is again, picking up that same position. So we see him in all these different clips, showing all kinds of different skills, but going where he wants to.
Well, just go back a little bit, Michael, if you can. Just watch his neck work here. Watch his... Go back when the ball's deep, but he's not got it. Watch him look over his shoulder. Look, he comes off. He's looked over his shoulder twice already. And again. And that's when you're playing in that... and again, he's looking. He knows where you can turn on the ball. And that's a lesson for anyone that wants to play in there, because you have to have that 360 openness about you, that vision that's all completely around the pitch. Look at that for a great goal. And again, his finishing, Michael, you would appreciate that. Just passes it into net. Doesn't try and go for power.
Well, that begs the question then, when you're talking about 360 and all the touches, is why then? Why, oh why, has he played out wide in this game? We see him out there. Enzo Fernandez has been given the job, Glenn, as the number 10 in this game. But we just say, let's just run through this clip and have a look at the reasons why he doesn't get so many touches. I mean, straight away, you've got to think to yourself, if we just forward it a little bit further, Enzo Fernandez in that position, if that was Cole Palmer at any point, he would get that ball and he would be turning.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Get him on the ball, get him as many touches as the ball. If that ball goes into him, he'd have swung or he'd have turned on that one quickly. Now, this might have been a one-off, Michael, against Man City. And I think today, you know, you're playing Wolves away. Palmer, I think, will play in that 10 role. For some reason, they wanted to tighten it up in midfield, and you understand that. But if it's something that happens time and time again, I think, you know, that's going to be something that Palmer won't like, and they're not going to get the best out of him.
No, exactly. And all that time in that last clip, he's not getting a touch. He's not even close to getting a touch. And again, in this situation, you know, we see him out on the right-hand side. You can only wonder, Glenn, what he would have been like if he was in the middle, this should be him, shouldn't it?
Yes, exactly.
He should be picking the ball up in this type of area, and then having this type of player making the runs, given options. You know, and he can see a pass.
Well, this is what he's so good at. Not only are the goals he scored, but he can see a pass.
Should be vice versa, shouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, that's where you want him in that, as I call the hub of the pitch. And when he's in those positions, he's absolutely outstanding because he can feed balls into people, he can put people in on goals, but he's got a shot on him and he can just glide past people as well.
With all due respect, someone like Cole Palmer in this position, you can get anybody galloping up the right wing and playing it inside, surely.
Well, we saw that. They've got enough wingers.
Well, exactly. But, I mean, this should be somebody else just doing that type of work. And once he's ready to play it in, you know, Cole Palmer should be in sort of these areas, shouldn't he? Linking the play, getting the ball and then feeding through. I mean, it's almost a waste of a player.
And when you're in where
that should be him now, shouldn't it?
That should be him.
That's him.
And that's where you can hurt a team. You can really hurt a team if you've got the gift that he's got. Because he can shoot. Look, that's Casado. No disrespect to Casado. You know, he's not going to open up a defence with an uncanny pass time and time again, consistently. He might do it in one game, but he's not going to do it as consistent as Palmer did last season.
Yeah, well, the good thing, I think, Manish, is the manager looks like he's learned from his mistakes, because looking at the squad today, looking at the team today, it looks like Cole Palmer is going to be more of a central position.
So more of a horses for courses, really, for Cole Palmer, depending on who they play at any given time. OK, almost time for kick-off then at Molineux. Can Wolves look towards home comfort to pick up their first win of the new Premier League season? Or can Chelsea and Ender Maresca put aside all the noise that's been around the club in recent weeks for their first win of the campaign? It all gets underway when we return.
You two have come a long way. Ape, then a human, traveling together. Quite an adventure.
These apes hunt humans. We need to go.
Bend for your king.
Can you imagine?
नम्मी इमेज बनाना ना बहुत मुश्किल होता है।
ऐसा ही होता है, सारे मर्द एक जैसे होते हैं।
बताओ हम क्या?
सीधे आंटी के पास जाइए और उन्हें सब सच बता दीजिए।
मुझे पहले ही सरस को अपने अतीत के बारे में सब कुछ बता देना चाहिए था।
कैसे इतने सालों तक मुझसे छुपा कर रखा?
हम जिसे चाहते हैं वो हमेशा हमारे लिए परी की तरह होता है।
उस लड़की की माँ से प्यार करते थे आप। एक काम करती हूँ, मैं एक किताब लिख, माय परफेक्ट हस्बैंड, फिर तुम्हें पूरी लव स्टोरी पता चल जाएगी।
The greatest athlete in the world is Trudy Ederle.
I've decided to swim the English Channel.
She'll die in that water.
Don't let anyone take me out, no matter what.
Young woman MSc.
उसका नाम सचिन है, प्यार से हम उसे सच्चू बुलाते हैं।
अगर सही बात पूछो तो इस होटल की ब्रांच हम ऊटी में चला रहे हैं।
हाँ, अपन बहुत थक गए हैं, थोड़ी सी दवाई ले लेता है। Cheers।
एक बार शांति से मेरी बात तो सुन।
हाँ, शांति से ही बोल रहा हूँ, निकलो इधर।
सच्चू चाचू हमारे साथ रह सकते हैं क्या?
साबुन के झाग जैसे लग रहे हैं।
एक तो पहले से अमुदा मुझ पर शक कर रही है यार। कुछ ही दिनों में सारे शक दूर हो जाएंगे। उन्हें देखकर तुम्हें कुछ महसूस नहीं हुआ?
हुआ ना, अपन को उसको झाड़ू लेके मारने का मन हुआ।
Manchester United against Liverpool.
Reputation and pride will be at stake when English football's unmatched rivalry scripts its new chapter. Premier League, the kickoff. Manchester United versus Liverpool. 1st September, live only on the Star Sports Network and Disney Plus Hotstar.
Battle of Breath. Pro Kabaddi League Season 11. Coming soon on the Star Sports Network and Disney Plus Hotstar.
The greatest athlete in the world is Trudy Ederle.
I've decided to swim the English Channel.
She'll die in that water.
Don't let anyone take me out, no matter what.
Young woman MSc.
I see everything.
What a wonderful day!
I
can't stop looking at me. All eyes on me, ain't nothing they can do about it. Every time I do my thing, they talk about it. No matter the mood I'm in, I love when I move like this. Wow.
सांसों की जंग प्रो कबड्डी लीग सीजन 11 चलता रहा है स्टार स्पोर्ट्स नेटवर्क और डिज्नी प्लस हॉटस्टार पर.
Against Chelsea. Well, Gary O'Neill makes just the one change from the defeat at the Emirates. Wolves have been linked to Arsenal's Aaron Ramsdale, but Jose Sarr remains the number one for now. O'Neill sticks with the same back four, including the match winner last season, Matt Doherty. New club captain Mario Lemina also scored in that fixture. And in the return at Stamford Bridge, Mateus Cunha scored his only Premier League hat-trick, and he is that only change. Which means a home debut for summer loan Jurgen Strand Larsen. Rodrigo Gomez the man to make way from last weekend. Well, Chelsea had a Europa Conference League qualifier but returned to 9 of the side that lost to the champions at Stamford Bridge. Philip Jorgensen made his Chelsea debut in Europe, but Sanchez returns from last weekend. The same back four as against City, none of whom started in Europe. Romeo Lavia has a minor hamstring injury, so Enzo Fernandez will play deeper, which sees Cole Palmer move to the 10 with Madueke coming into the side on the right and Mudryk replacing Nkunku on the left. Chelsea linked with strikers in the final week of the transfer window, but Nicholas Jackson continues to lead the line. And the man they signed from Wolves, winger Pedro Neto, is on the bench. Season under his belt in charge of Wolves. Enzo Maresca, his first Premier League season as a manager. And Madueke, who had some interesting social media comment to make about the town of Wolverhampton. Starting this one. And on that bench, Pedro Neto and also João Felix looking to make his second debut for Chelsea. Right before kick-off, there'll be a moment for Molineux in tribute to former goalkeeper Tia Sharkic, who passed away on the 15th of June at the age of just 26. Those paying tribute. Well, for Wolves today, after defeat at the Emirates, what can they make of this one? Pedro Neto, once in Wolves colours, not that long ago, of course, on the bench for Chelsea today. Another new Chelsea signing next to him. So what Chelsea will we see today? Their first away match of this new season. And away we go, two clubs with opening matchday defeats. up to the top two from last season. So how much can we read into that, Lee Hendrick?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to just, as you said, you just don't know what to expect. I mean, Wolves were very good at home last season, and towards the back end of the season they really struggled, didn't they? And I think Chelsea, well, we started to see signs and glimpses that the possibility of Chelsea really starting to go places, and then Pochettino leaves the football club, so I think they're back to square one. I do feel that they're trying to find that identity. And as you said, Seb, I think it's one of them, it's stepping into the unknown, what we're going to get from this Chelsea side.
Still a side with plenty of quality in it. Jackson couldn't make that one stick. And Mudryk applying the pressure. Sterling started this fixture last season. The many are involved in the Chelsea squad today. So Fernandes finding Palmer. Madueke booed by the home support, but Madueke looked to punish them early on with a tester at the near post.
That's brilliant from Madueke. Chelsea fans screaming for him to start today, and this is one of the reasons why. Very direct, positive. Yes, the boos and jeers, but that won't faze him. Really catches Jose Sarr at that near post. Forces a big save.
It's the first Chelsea corner. Sent in by Palmer. It's a decent delivery to the back post. And what a start for Chelsea. What a start for Jackson. The opening 2 minutes. And the Blues straight out of the blocks.
It's an absolute dream start. And the ball in at that near post. I think it's the flick. Tejas Cunha just gets the last touch on it, but Chris Jackson all on his own at that back post. No one marking him, no one expecting the ball to come out to that far post. It does. And I tell you what, it's not an easy finish by any stretch. He's got to try and push it past and head it past.
It's been a sloppy game. Both sides giving the ball away. It's the openness from a Chelsea point of view. It's how easy we are able to be got at. He's caught him in the face actually. Do you know what? There's nothing wrong with him, by the way. Gomez has caught Casado in the face with his hand. I don't know why he's gone down holding his head. Maybe he's holding his hand, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's how he's landed on his wrist by the looks of it. There is the end of the first half. What an incredible roller coaster ride that was. Nicholas Jackson had Chelsea ahead on 2 minutes. Matthews Cunha, as Wolves came into it, equalised shortly before the half hour. Bang on 45, Cole Palmer with a brilliant goal. Made it 2-1 to the Blues. But then Chelsea switched off from a free kick. And Jorgen Strand Larsen was the beneficiary of that, equalising in the 6th minute of stoppage time at the end of a frantic first half, which finishes with the score: Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Chelsea 2. And there's some sorting out to do in both dressing rooms, Jason.
Absolutely. I think that managers there'll be parts they'll be very pleased with, parts they'll be very disappointed and worried about, because Wolves have been, I'm not saying allowed back into the game, that's not fair, but when you take a lead early in a game like we did, and we look really comfortable moving the ball, had Wolves where we wanted them, but it's how easy we are to get through the middle of the park. There's something in that middle of the park. Casado's had probably his worst game in a Chelsea shirt, which has certainly contributed to this. He can't be any worse second half than he was first, because he got dispossessed at least 4 times, gives the ball away on a number of occasions. If that is to improve, then we will keep ball retention, but it's the transition when the ball is given away. In particular, they can get beyond that midfield, and we only really have one player in there, and that is only Casado. And if he has his pocket pinched, well, you do the maths. You know, they're in at a back line. And then when you've got Gusto going in there, who at times I have to say hasn't really had that great involvement in there, there's a huge space out on our right, their left, which, and you've got Cole, it's just disjointed. And there's lots that needs to improve on a Chelsea point of view in the second half.
And it's got to be a case of getting to grips with the system, right, rather than a lack of familiarity, because I'm looking down at the team, and everybody who starts this game was here last season. You could say Wesley Fofana's maybe a slight asterisk there, but it's about getting to grips with what the coach wants.
Absolutely. No question about that. There is, of course, the bench. I wonder, what does concern me is the Gusto yellow card. Because he's often, because of the way he plays, he's often finding himself in a position where he is chasing back towards his own goal. Where he is going back in a position where he is out of position. And in doing that, you're often tackling from the wrong side, which is how actually he picked up his booking. That might well be needed to be looked at. I don't know whether he needs to continually... That impact that he has in the middle of the park hasn't... We haven't outnumbered them so far in the middle of the park.
I'll tell you what, I'll step out for a second. Let's bring in Sam Parkin, who's doing our TV commentary, and he can add his expertise.
Well, Sam, it's I just described it as a crazy first half. Could have gone in 2-1 up. Could have gone in maybe 3-2 down. There's been chances at both ends. The passing for both teams has not been great. From a Chelsea point of view, sum up that first half, please.
The outset, going forward, it was really sharp. Some really good attacking play. Madueke loved his attitude to get out the full-back. Aït-Nouri didn't want to defend against him. Now he's on a yellow card, which could be problematic for them as the half wears on. I don't know, it feels so open. I think it's a problem we saw throughout the pre-season. The Cunha's been a massive problem. I think he's got in 4 times. He's had 4 efforts, kind of playing just off the centre forward. The goals that we're conceding is a real issue. I mean, I'll bow to your superior knowledge, but as being a former defender, the free kick, I think the first header is the bigger problem. You can accept sometimes the finish and someone getting free in the box in the second phase, but how they're able to just clip the ball onto one of the centre-halves' heads from the dead ball and not have any kind of challenge on him, I think it's a big problem at the moment.
I think defending from set pieces has been a problem. even corners. We look unconvincing. Even when there's a second phase of defending a set piece, Jackson headed the corner out on one occasion. The ball is then recycled out to Cunha. Cunha's got space. Had it been a better cross, I think it might have been Lamina that was out on that far stick that may have headed in. But the problem I've got right now is how open we are in the middle of the park. As mentioned pre-season, Casado's having his worst game of the Chelsea shirt. He's had his pocket pinch 4 times, given the ball away on a number of occasions. And the problem you've got is because Gusto's in there, but he's not really. He's on his own in there, Casado. Gusto's presence has not been felt in the middle of the park, and once you give that ball away, because he's come inside, Cunha and Ain't Nori now, and Bellegarde as well at times, they're on this. They're saying just wait, just like setting traps. And once that ball is given away in the middle of the park, we have got massive problems.
Bellegarde has been going in with Gusto, and that's enabled Cunha to run out there. I had a look at the heat map of those 2 players. They're playing quite narrow, both of them, Bellegarde and Cunha. But as you rightly say, they often spring into that position. Is it too simplistic to say you need a more orthodox central defensive midfielder alongside? That's going to provoke that conversation, isn't it? I think what we're seeing today.
Well, so you've got 2 problems. One, Gusto is leaving his right back position.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you play that system, there is no natural attack. So then you're asking Nona Madueke to come back and defend in those areas.
Yeah.
But that kind of defeats the object of what you're trying to achieve. Why would you then play Nona Madueke at right back if you've got Gusto in? I wonder whether we need to be a little bit more reserved. It's not working. Gusto's presence in the middle of the park, you're there to dominate the ball, dominate possession, outnumber them. It's not happening.
The other side of it, what you've not said there, he doesn't look very comfortable in receiving it either. And there was a couple of occasions when Caicedo gave the ball away, and you rightly highlighted him having a poor game. Looked like it was on to give it to Gusto, and he's not actually giving it. So we're not getting probably the stability we want with the ball well. Because if you're getting someone like Reece James in there, we know Reece is going to be so adept in the tight spots and going to affect the game with his passing. I'm not sure what Gusto is bringing to the table in terms of his ability with the ball.
And the problem he's got now, Matt, as well, is when he goes inside there, whether it be he or Casado, because we're giving the ball away cheaply and our ball retention is poor, he's going to find himself more often than not, as he got chasing and tackling from the wrong side. He is one more tackle away from getting a red card. And that is a major concern for me. I seriously would consider 2 things. One, I would get him now to naturally just play as a right back. I would have Enzo sitting alongside Casado. I'd be more stable in the middle of the park. We still have great attacking players. We've still got players that can affect the game. The whole process of outnumbering the middle of the park is to then win the ball and then get the ball high up the pitch. It's not happening.
I felt early part of the game was keeping an eye on the way that Chelsea were closing. Palmer and Enzo were very high up there with Nicholas Jackson.
He's almost a second 10, Enzo.
Yeah. Oh, he is, absolutely. But without the ball as well, I thought, God, this is really aggressive from the outset. Hence, it becoming a basketball game really early on. I just thought they were really proactive, and when Wolves could get beyond them, they were in business. So it feels repetitive and so simplistic that we're talking about the inverted fullback and quite boring. But I think it is a massive issue in terms of the whole balance of the side.
Absolutely. It is the problem that we're having here.
Yeah.
And Wolves haven't had to be brilliant. They got themselves back into the game. There's a little bit of needle in the game as well, which I don't mind. I quite like a bit of needle in the game. But, we could have gone 2 up, Sam. We had half chances going 2 up. But at the same time, we looked like we could score, but within the same 30 seconds, we looked like we could concede. And you can't play like that in the Premier League and expect to get away with it, because there will be teams that will sit there and they will absolutely suck you in. They will set traps and they'll spring.
Yeah.
And right now we're playing Wolves, who aren't known for that.
What did you make of the goal, Palmer's goal? I mean, we saw, I don't know if you got the pictures, we saw a slow of Sanchez spinning the ball out. I don't know if there was maybe a complaint from Wolves that the ball was still moving, or whether they were just highlighting how quickly he took it.
The VAR can't go back to restarts, so that cannot be brought back even if the ball was moving. That's the referee or the assistant. But it's a brilliant ball downfield. Neto, by the way,
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, well, thanks, mate.
Good.
Just to suppose, look, we'll get to the game in a moment, but we're a week away from the deadline. So, how busy do you expect the next sort of 7 days to be for Wolves?
Yeah, we're trying to do stuff. So, yeah, it's been busy since the transfer window opened, really, for the recruitment team and Matt Hobbs, and leaning on myself as well for my opinion on things. But no, it's I would expect the next week to obviously be busy as a whole in the world of football, especially in the Premier League. I think it'll be a busy week transfer wise. There seems to be a lot of clubs still trying to do stuff. So, no, we'll still be trying to do stuff to help the group.
Obviously, look, reports have been in talks with Aaron Ramsdale, with Darragh O'Shea. Any update on those? And I suppose, look, every time you're going to be linked with a player, there's going to be half a dozen other Premier League clubs doing the same thing with probably the same players.
Yeah, I won't discuss any player that's not already signed for Wolves. So, individual names and things and rumours and. It's all where the players are from. No issue with whoever's best to play will.
Wrong, but I mean that's going to be sort of difficult to come up against a player that talented, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him. Obviously, he played yesterday, and we'll see whether they think he's in a place where he can go again, having played Thursday. Whether he can start again on the Sunday. I thought they performed well last weekend against Manchester City. I thought it was a good game, and they showed signs that Enzo is starting to, has made his mark sort of on the team, and you can see what they're trying to do. So they've got, obviously, pretty much impossible for me to sit here and pick a Chelsea lineup. There's so many there. Obviously, with some recent stuff, we know some that definitely won't be in the team, but still trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do will be tough. So just a real focus around us this week, as there was for Arsenal. Trying to give the best account of ourselves and trying to start off the Premier League season at home with a win, which would be huge for us, because we all know that it's been a difficult first set of fixtures that have come out for us. So really keen to get some positive results on the board as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they're difficult to prepare for. Obviously, we know the number of players they've got, a new manager, they've played in midweek, so you're never quite sure how much rotation there's going to be. That sounds like a lot of variables there.
Yeah, there are a lot. So obviously we'll have our best guess and we'll prepare for that, and hopefully our knowledge of ourselves and what we do will be enough to give us a real good chance in this game. But we won't really know what we're facing or how they're going to rotate or which structure they'll use until we get the team sheet. Probably once the team sheet comes in, we'll probably have a fair idea from what they've done in pre-season and what they've done in the last couple as to what sort of movements and what sort of structure they'll look to use. But at this moment, we know a little bit. You can watch a bit of Leicester and what Enzo did with Leicester, but could still be very different. So there's a lot this week with the opposition that can change. So we need to, as I say, just be the best that we can be. at home in front of our fans, and I think that'll give us a really good chance in the game.
That's great.
Okay.
Sorry. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Good.
From a year ago, when you came in here and hit the ground running, ahead of your first game at home, how different does it feel this year, and how deeply embedded do you feel now compared to back then?
Yeah, I think that normal, obviously, when you've been somewhere for over a year is quite a long time as a managerial stint now. So been here for over a year. And I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable here with you guys doing the press conferences, whereas at the start, obviously, that was new to me. I feel comfortable stood in the home technical area, but still feel like we're running. We're still running as hard as we can to push forward, and still exactly as driven as I was the day that I walked in. And the group are the same. There's a real hunger in the group. Training today was excellent again.
For him. Chelsea have their lead back 3 minutes into the second half, and Noni Madueke, who is making headlines he didn't want earlier today. He doesn't like Wolverhampton much, apparently. Well, he's enjoying it a lot more now at Molineux. He's just made it Wolves 2, Chelsea 3.
Well, Noni Madueke, take a bow, son, because he's caused problems to Nori all afternoon. Picks the ball up. It's a good free kick that's taken quickly. Jackson plays the ball out wide onto that right-hand side to Palmer. Palmer slides in Madueke. Now he's got it to the right-hand side. Cuts back, has a shot, ricochets off the hamstring of Nori, Matt, and just bounces over Jose Sarr. He just pulls the trigger. It's a wicked deflection, goes over the goalkeeper. He can't do anything about it. 3-2 Chelsea.
Oh, Nori put his head in his hands. He knew there was nothing he could do about it, but he also knew
get tighter.
That would not have gone in had it not been for the deflection.
He's backed off, Matt. He's backed off. He made no attempt to go to the ball. Comes off the inside of his right leg. Bounces. Nothing Sarr can do. And Noni Madueke there has been booed all afternoon. Nothing will please him more than getting a goal here. Goes over at the Chelsea fans to celebrate.
Well, this game is mad.
Can we get the next goal in this game? Because there are goals, I can see us scoring more. Can we now be a little bit more rigid as a unit? Brilliant play from Enzo there. Picks the pocket, moves the ball quickly. Caicedo, he does that. Chance on the left-hand side.
Palmer helped it on to Neto. Good tackle on him from Doherty, though. Neto maybe not quite warmed up into the game yet. Here come Wolves with the ball pushed out right-hand side to Cunha. Cunha infield to Lamina, try to flick it back to him. Cucurella was in the way. As far as Nori.
Palmer's the one that's helping out a little bit more, actually. You can see they're Noni Madueke helping out.
Cross comes in towards Strand Larsen, can't get a toe to it, goes behind for a goal kick.
Noticeably, Palmer has really got a defensive head on when there's a transition of possession and he's helping out. Gusto, Noni Madueke also is deep, and they're acutely aware of that yellow card, Matt. That's certainly from what I've seen the opening exchanges in this first half.
Here's Sanchez, 51st minute of the game. Although we had about 9 minutes of stoppage time in the end of the first half. Fofana plays it through the middle, looking for the run of Jackson. Not a bad ball, that. Doherty able to get there first, though. Back to Jose Sarr. Cleared away by the Portuguese goalkeeper for Wolves, looking for Neto.
As well. Does really well.
Oh, and a challenge from Hwang on Cucurella.
Bit of frustration again.
Cucurella laying prone on the floor, hand over his eyes, his luscious curly locks spreading almost a foot along the pitch.
We're just jealous.
Very
yeah,
much
so he's played the ball, and Hwang there, he's just gone through, followed through with his right foot. It's petulant more than anything. It's one of those, if you're his teammate, you're going, dude, the ball, they're going backwards. Why would you do that?
And Hwang wagged his finger at the referee in that way that only ever happens on a football pitch. Never in any other facet of your life would you wag your finger at somebody.
It's a very good point, actually. Unless, of course, you're having a domestic.
Less said about that, the better. Here's Colwill on the ball. 7 gone, second half. Plays it up into midfield. Jackson on the turn. Palmer trying to hold his run here. There was a through pass there, and Lamina fouled Nicholas Jackson.
Well, that should be a booking. That if you're gonna be consistent, Mr. England, that needs to be a booking, because it's a similar booking. Yeah, that's Matt. Talk to me about that. if you're going to book Gusto, and rightly so, you've got to do the same.
Yeah, but it looks as though the card is staying in
That's
the
a
pocket.
He's not had a great game, the referee, I've got to tell you. He's made some odd decisions in my book.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe got in his head a little bit. Lemina's got away with that one. He won't be so lucky next time round.
But that's... You just want... Look, it's a similar tackle to the Gusto one on Cunha. Going back, and that, as I've made this point a number of times, when you're going back towards your own goal and you're trying to win the ball, you've got to get it right. If you don't, it has to be a booking. He stopped a promising attack.
Well, the concern now is not for the fact that the attack was halted, but because Nicholas Jackson needs treatment because of it. I mean, they just kicked him. And the game has been halted because of that. 5 goals already at Molineux today. Those who make the TV picks will be annoyed that they went for Bournemouth 1, Newcastle 0 with an hour gone instead of Wolves 2, Chelsea 3.
Well, there's going to be goals in Chelsea games this season. The bet is both teams to score. I've got to tell you, it's that because we look like we're going to score the next goal in the game, but we also look like we could concede the next goal in the game, and that really has been the pattern in these opening 53, nearly 54 minutes, Matt.
Yeah, next goal in this match feels particularly significant as we see the challenge again, which Jackson has gone off the pitch, but only because he was treated. So I think he's going to be fine to come back on again once the 30 seconds is up. Chelsea playing with 10 for the moment as Gusto gets played back underway. Goes to Cucurella and Colwill. Terrible pass.
Ball.
Easily picked off by Lemina. Gusto did really well to win it back. Colwill much better second time round in for Enzo Fernandez. Out left for Neto. First chance for him to express himself. Put the brakes on, then got away from Joao Gomez. Neto still going here. Ran into Doherty trying to prevent the corner. He's done that. And Joao Gomez does well to prevent the throw. But then well won back by Enzo Fernandez. Here's Gusto, middle of the pitch, 40 yards from goal. Needs somebody to spread wide. Palmer was in an inverted right-sided position. He's got the ball now. Back to Fofana. And Colwill swishes it wide left. Jackson's just come back onto the pitch, leaves it for Neto. Now Jackson does get a touch. Nicholas Jackson, remember, hardly played in pre-season. He picked up an injury on international duty just after the domestic campaign had finished. Neto's won it back here from Hwang. Hwang looks a little bit off it. Neto clattered, but play goes on with Jackson on the ball. Tried to force his way through past Mosquera, but couldn't. Eventually cleared up to halfway and Strand Larsen. Cucurella got a touch, and it's out for a Wolves throw.
Cucurella there trying to con the referee. So Jackson does well. He gets a little bit... Neto comes inside, and the ball ricochets between the pair, and he plays a lovely little ball. Jackson's first touch, though, Matt, it's a little bit too far out of his feet. And Mosquera then just to have a nibble when he does that. In the end, they clear it. Both sides unconvincing on that defensively.
Jose Sarr, and that is an understatement. Jose Sarr pumps it forward. Strand Larsen helped it on, looking for Hwang. Here's Fofana, though. And back to his goalkeeper, and immediately offers him a pass by going out wide right.
It's well played, that.
If we can see him fit for the majority of this season, he's going to make a massive difference.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Good run there,
tackle.
Up to
Ref, get your book out!
It's Ait Nouri,
get your book out, Ref! Send him off!
On a yellow.
It's a booking!
And the referee's not interested in showing him another one.
Referee, Matt, talk to me about this.
Well, Fofana touches it. Well, Ait Nouri just cleans him up.
Honestly,
doesn't even try and tackle, he just pushed him over.
Honestly,
he's a lucky boy.
He's bottled that. The referee has absolutely bottled it. He's had a terrible game, and that really does rubber stamp it for me.
Enzo Fernandez not happy. We will see if Ait Nouri gets away with that again. Here's Caicedo back to Cucurella. Chelsea leading 3-2. He's going to need a long debrief this game.
Yeah, that pass into Gusto. I don't know what he's meant to do with that ball. I really don't.
And Jackson barged off the ball. Here's Joao Gomez, edge of the box, finding Chan, who crosses into the penalty area, cleared away by Colwill, and then on the volley is Mario Lemina, hooking it high, wide and handsome.
So the pass for Gusto. Gusto's coming to feet. He's got a player right up his backside. He can only play the ball back to Sanchez. It's the only thing. I don't get that. You need to be coming in there. You're receiving the ball with your shoulders closed. You can't get on the half turn. And then Sanchez, all Sanchez is going to do is what he should have done the first time, and he's gone long. But because they're now squeezing the pitch, now Jackson's walking into an area where the centre halves are comfortable. You can go tight. There's a time and a place.
Short from Sanchez then to Fernandez, who gives it straight back. Now Fofana has it edge of the penalty area.
Just setting traps all over the pitch, aren't they? Look at them. Just waiting for that soft, that pass that isn't quite on point.
Colwill smacks one long through the middle for Madueke. Sarr had to head it because he was just outside his penalty area. Did well to find Ait Nouri. Back with Jose Sarr again, who this time decides to pump it up and over the halfway line, straight onto the head of Colwill, helped on by Fernandez. Clever header for Caicedo, did well. Moved it on to Palmer. Good position here for Chelsea. Madueke free if he can play him. Here is Madueke. Not a great angle, didn't matter, because he put it through Jose Sarr's legs for 4-2. Well, Wolverhampton's not so bad after all, is it, Nonny? He's on a hat-trick. We've not played for an hour yet, and Chelsea have got some daylight all of a sudden. Wolves 2, Chelsea 4. Nonny at the double.
Well, I've got to say, Caicedo's not in his greatest game, but boy, what a massive header this is. He's in the middle of the park. He's on his own. He's got to win it. He wins it, puts in Palmer. Now you've got into their back line. It's been a game like this. As soon as this header goes into Palmer, he's got to win this match. As soon as he wins it, Palmer's now. You've got a 3v3 or a 4v3 situation. It's a way to pass. He gets it right. He's onside. Nona Madueke drills it with his right foot. It's to go through the legs of Sarr. I think it may well do, you know. It does. Chelsea 4, Wolves 2. There's more goals in this game.
Well, the last time Chelsea won here, it was by a big score back in 2019. And they're at it again, a place that has been far from a happy hunting ground since then. Well, it's looking good now. 2-goal cushion. We won't count chickens because it's been that kind of game. But Noni Madueke might walk away with the match ball here. And he might be coming back to Wolves on holiday at this rate. He's had such a good time.
Well, we're not an hour on the clock yet. And the next goal in this game, you said it's going to be pivotal. You did feel if Wolves were to get it, that we've seen them in the ascendancy. We've got the next goal in the game. We've managed to put ourselves, there's daylight. You're absolutely right, Matt, not to count our chickens, because this 2-goal lead, it doesn't feel safe. Doesn't feel completely safe.
It doesn't, and they've made a substitution to try and get themselves back into the game. Daniel Podence, who won the Conference League on loan at Olympiacos last season and has scored in a win against Chelsea here in his past, has come on for Hwang, who was totally ineffective during the game, as Jackson gives a slight nudge in the back to Mosquera, who gets a free kick in the Wolves' right back position.
Darren England's been absolutely atrocious.
Doherty over the free kick. An hour on the clock now. Chelsea have scored 4 goals away from home. Finished the season brilliantly away. Unbeaten in 4 in the league. Actually won the opening away game in 6 of the last 8 seasons. And meanwhile, Strand Larsen's gone down holding his face on halfway.
Well, Caicedo wins the header. Larsen is trying to win the header from behind Caicedo. I wonder whether he's caught him with his elbow.
Yeah, no intention from Caicedo, but that doesn't mean that it's not painful when an elbow connects with your cheek.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those. They can stun you. He's up though, there's no blood.
Still 1-0 to Bournemouth against Newcastle, by the way, there at the midway point of the second half there. Flick from Strand Larsen into Cunha, edge of the penalty area. And Podence played it against the Chelsea player. It bounced back for Joao Gomez. Here's Cunha again. Looking to play it infield to Podence, but intercepted. Enzo Fernandez under pressure here from Cunha's done really well. And he plays it up to Jackson. Nice turn from him. Now can he play Palmer? And it's not a great ball. It's forced Palmer wide, but he'll still bear down on goal here. Palmer up against Ait Nouri, who's got to be careful. Palmer going for goal. Jose Sarr makes a good save to tip that over, did he?
I think it comes on the post. The referee's given a goal kick. I think Palmer's got to go across goal here. It wasn't a great, really good play from Enzo. Plays in Jackson. The pass has got to be into his running path. It forces Palmer right. He's got Ait Nouri for company. Does a little step over. I think he's got to drill this across the 6-yard box, Matt. Noni Madueke's sitting there, waiting. That goes across. It's 5-2. And Noni Madueke walks away with the match ball.
Did smack against the post on its way through.
Got to square that. Don't make many mistakes, Palmer, but on that occasion he does.
But we're talking about things Chelsea are doing in an attacking sense in the second half rather than defensively, aren't we? That's the big shift since half-time.
By the way, Caicedo, I was critical of his first half performance. He has been really good in the second half.
As has
really
Enzo
good.
Fernandez, who's won it back, and now Palmer inside the penalty area, off for Madueke for the hat-trick. No problem, Noni. 5-2 to Chelsea. What an unbelievable day it's been for Noni Madueke. He's made it. Wolves 2, Chelsea 5.
Unbelievable. This time Palmer does get it right. Enzo, brilliant work, scurrying high at the pitch. I made the point that Caicedo has been better, and he has. He's won those little vital touches. He's just won those header that led to the second goal for Madueke. But this is all about Palmer. Palmer's appreciation. He made a mistake a couple of minutes ago. This time he gets it right. Perfect way to pass. But it's about Enzo. Enzo wins the ball in the middle of the park here, bites into the challenge. Oh, it's poor though from Wolves. Jackson plays it into Palmer. Put it in his path, he does. One touch, second touch, a goal. Hat-trick boy.
4 goals in a few days now for Noni Madueke. Cole Palmer is amazing, no surprise, but Madueke, some great finishes from him today. And what a way to silence the Wolves fans who've been barracking him since minute 1.
It's been hilarious, Matt. He put out a post on social media about the fact that he didn't particularly like Wolverhampton. That's why he's getting the boos. Well, he's rammed it down their throat.
Noni Madueke with a hat-trick, and surely that's enough for Chelsea to get the 3 points, even though with stoppages we've probably still got half an hour of this game left. Who knows what the final score could be?
Was it 6-2 the last time we won?
I think it was 5-2, wasn't it?
Was it?
Tammy hat-trick to
yes.
Mori, and I forget the other goal scorer.
Was it another Cobham boy? I think I seem to remember that it was a graduate. Anyway.
Mason Mount, I reckon. Bellegarde, meanwhile, trying to get down the left-hand side. Ball's gone out of play for a goal. I mean, Wolves have offered nothing in the second half so far. No,
they haven't. Caicedo, Matt, has been noticeably better. And also Gusto coming in. That one pass I was not happy with from Sanchez, where he played a straight ball where Gusto's coming back to his own goal pace. Not a lot he can do with it. But we've been so much better in the middle of the park. We've not allowed them to get at us through the middle of the park.
Are we at the point now where you're thinking,
lovely.
And we'll come back to that because Chelsea are coming forward again. Here's Caicedo looking for Palmer, wasn't a great pass, almost broke for Madueke, will break for Pedro Neto. Doherty got in his way.
Well, they look an absolute shambles now. They look all over the place. Brilliant flick that from was it Jackson that flicks that ball into Caicedo, who's been good second half. Touch isn't quite on point, and Palmer there breaks himself, knowing if his touch is better. He's just got a shot against Jose Sarr in the open goal.
I mean, he's really hard on himself there in his reaction, Cole Palmer. We'll let you off with that one, mate, because you've been pretty good otherwise. I make that, by the way, Noni Madueke's first career hat-trick. I was going to say, is this a time now to start making some changes and think about who needs a rest as much as who needs minutes?
Do you know what, Matt? He scored. He scored 3 of his goals in the last 4 with his right foot.
Well, that is a big benefit. Here comes Neto. Chelsea got so many attacking options.
Better from Caicedo. Much better. He couldn't be any worse. He's been much better.
Maybe he borrowed a can of Red Bull off Jamie Vardy at half-time or something. He's been a different player, and Chelsea have been a different team.
Yes, we have.
This is massively encouraging, isn't it? We were concerned at half-time, we have to be honest. This second-half display so far has been superb. Here's Caicedo.
The flicks, Caicedo. The flicks have been... There's a swagger about the way we're playing right now. There's a confidence that's just oozing through. And I don't think that Pedro Neto's had a huge influence on this game, but is it telling perhaps that there's Mudryk?
Yeah, that change has coincided.
I know you all look at little things in games. What's been different? Well, Wolves haven't been anywhere near the team. We have been so much better. There's a triple change from them and one for us as well.
Yeah, Joao Felix is going to come on for his second Chelsea debut, but there is nothing to illustrate that a manager is not happy with his team's performance like a triple substitution. No surprise that Ryan Aït-Nouri's going off on a yellow card, looking like he'd get a red. He's going to be replaced by Craig Dawson, now 34 years of age. Aït-Nouri player we both rate, Jason, but not
Yes.
been his day today.
No, I'm a big fan. I think big things await for that young man. He's a talented left back and does lots of things really well. But his second half has been you could pretty much take anyone off here. That second
Cunha
half.
going off as well, who was so devastating in the first half. And the other player going off is Bellegarde. Pablo Sarabia came on for Cunha. And they have made 3 substitutions in one go here. Wolves. The other Gomez is the other man to come on. Rodrigo Gomez, very highly thought of around these parts. And here comes Joao Felix then on for his second Chelsea debut.
What a lovely game to come onto. Nicholas Jackson makes it. What a lovely game to come onto. The game, I'm going to say it now, the game is over. Okay? Because I can't help but think that if they are to get back in at Wolves, that we will score another, certainly what I've seen. But it's a lovely game, nice and relaxed. Can you get yourself on the score sheet?
And it's a low bar to do better than he did in his first Chelsea debut, isn't it? Don't get sent off, Joao.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for today. He was brilliant in that game at Fulham before that happened. Now he's been fouled immediately by Gomez. Referee plays on because Chelsea got the ball.
He was, Matt. He was so good. And it was a straight red, and then you've gone from that, and he's got a 3-match ban. Look, I don't quite get the signing completely, but I'm willing to sit here and be proved that it was the right decision.
Caicedo,
so much better, Matt.
He's got different boots on second half. Palmer out to Madueke, who might be feeling greedy. He's right-hand side up against Totti Gomez. Edge of the penalty area, back for Gusto. Short to Palmer, players in his way. Almost managed to squeeze it through to Enzo Fernandez. Caicedo wins the loose ball ahead of Podence. Here's Gusto where he can do some damage out wide.
Caicedo's now winning those little balls, keeping the ball, moving the ball quickly. There's give the free kick,
foul
ref.
from Lamina. Chelsea get the advantage, which wasn't much of an advantage. And there's a foul by Sarabia. Again, play goes on. Here's Palmer through the legs of Lamina. Fernandez back to Palmer. That was brilliant from Enzo Fernandez. Then Cucurella went diving in, didn't get it. Caicedo went diving in and got fouled by Mosquera.
Get your card out, referee. Honestly.
Cucurella's gone ballistic there and led away by Fofana.
It's been a nice needle to this game. It feels like it. I don't think this ref has handled this game very well at all.
I'm already looking forward to the return fixture, I've got to say, because this has been spicy. And remember, it was Wolves who battered Chelsea in their backyard last season. It was a rare home defeat in the second half of the campaign for the Blues. And there's a bit of retribution here. Chelsea scored 5, Wolves scored 4 at the Bridge.
Because Cucurella is asking for the I think it doesn't look a nice tackle, this. I've got to tell you, it doesn't look a nice tackle. VAR will be looking at this. VAR will definitely be looking at this. He's gone down, he's getting some treatment. He gets none of the ball and lots of Caicedo's. I wonder whether it's not quite high enough. What I think is the new, we'll have a look now, there's a slow-mo of it. Oh, dear, it's a bad tackle.
Mosquera over the top of the ball.
That's a bad tackle. That's not a good tackle, that.
Top of the foot of
and
Caicedo.
You know what? They'll look at this, but there is that new directive, of course, to go with the on-field decision. They don't want VAR to get too involved. But it's not a good tackle, that.
Let's hope that Caicedo's okay. It's more the impact than anything jarring. But his paper-thin boots that they wear these days wouldn't have offered much protection for his metatarsal.
No, gets none of the ball. He's got a booking. It was definitely a card. It took him long enough, by the way, Darren England, to get that out. He definitely would have been in conversation with Stockley Park. They've obviously had a look at it, they've had a look at it and felt that it's not quite red. I kind of see that, although had a red been come out, I don't think VAR is going to be getting involved and saying change your kind of. Cucurella was incandescent with rage.
Well, we've had 72 minutes of the game again, like in the first half. We'll get lots of stoppage time here. Caicedo being helped back up to his feet. I think it is the pain that's caused him the problem, and it's not going to be anything long-standing. The referee has long since relinquished his grip on this game, as have Wolves. I mean, it's an incredible turnaround in the performance levels from both these two teams in the second half. We've seen the Challenger game here Yeah, last season you might have got sent off for that.
It probably is. It's not a good tackle, that. It's not. Cucurella there is doing the international sign for VAR. It's not a good tackle, but it probably is just a yellow.
Chelsea been absolutely excellent since half-time, and Wolves, well, it's like they're still in the tunnel. Here's Neto into Fernandez. Caicedo trying to get back involved, but Joao Gomez has got it back. Now Sarabia, right-hand side, newly on into the action. From a PSG player, now Podence. Fernandez tried to tackle him, but Podence has managed to work it back to Sarabia inside the penalty area here, but Chelsea players all round him. Cucurella, one of them.
He's had a good game, Cucurella, you know.
Neto plays it up to Joao Felix. Neto trying to hold his run and stay onside. Oh, lovely disguised pass from Felix to work it back to him. Neto back in field to Felix. One-touch stuff from Chelsea. Palmer inside the penalty area. Dawson shepherding him wide. Tried to cut it back, but only find Mosquera. And he moved it on to Podence. Wolves trying to get over halfway. Slip there.
Brilliant from Felix. Brilliant, he slips, and Felix gets his body between ball and man. Gomez goes down, he's one of those, he just trips, his studs get caught.
Here's Gusto right hand side. He's put it out because Caicedo's still struggling here. I think he's going to have to come off.
Yes, that will definitely be as a result from that challenge from Mosquera.
He's down on his haunches at the moment, the Ecuadorian.
Well, I have to say, you know, I'm here to tell you how I see the game. In the first half, he was possibly his worst performance in a Chelsea shirt. Second half, he's been outstanding. You know, and that whatever happened at half time, you know, players can go through bad spells, but he has been outstanding second half.
Keenan Dewsbury Hall getting stripped and ready to come on. Let's hope that for Moises, he's not going to be on the sidelines for too long. I do. This will shock you, but I don't have a degree in medicine, but I think it is more the impact which is causing him the problem.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope there's not any internal damage. But you're right. Studs on the foot, even back in my day when the boots were much sturdier, was always a nasty, painful one. But nowadays, as you said, I don't use the description as paper thin. Mate. You're absolutely right.
15 and change to go here. 5-2 to Chelsea. Referee stopped it again because Caicedo's gone down, and that's the end of his game. And Keenan Dewsbury Hall will have to come on to replace him. And Wolves are not happy that the game was stopped, but this game is beyond them anyway. So important, isn't it, as Dewsbury Hall comes on, to get your first win, not only as any football club, but as a new coach as well in the Premier League. And Enzo Maresca, who's been fielding all sorts of questions this week, will be pleased to focus on the football.
Yes.
And to focus on the fact that his team have won 2 from 2 now.
Yes, and he did say pre-season, we're going to concede goals, we're going to score goals. Football is all about a balance. The best sides get the balance right. And right now, Arsenal, as good as anything out there I've seen getting the balance right. Defensively solid, very, very difficult team to beat. Really difficult team, yet great chances to score goals. Against Aston Villa yesterday, this evening. It's the perfect example of that, because Sado comes off and Dewsbury Hall on.
Newcastle have equalised at Bournemouth. Anthony Gordon's made it 1-1 down on the south coast, and Dewsbury Hall is on for Chelsea. I mean, scored 12 and made 14 goals in the Championship for Enzo Maresca last season. Jose Sarr just boots it out of play. Well, Wolves had a poor end to last season. They've only won 2 of 16 home Premier League games played in the month of August, and the last of those was in 2012. Weird quirks, those kind of statistics, but there's a deeper-rooted problem here, I would think.
There is, Matt, there is. And he sold, you could argue, 2 of his best players, and they will be looking to do something about that, I would have thought, between now and the end of the window being slam shut, as it always does. Dawson coming on, what a pro he's been, but is that the answer? It's great to have in your squad. Yeah, he's got a bit of work to do, or he and the hierarchy at Wolves.
Here's Joao Felix for Chelsea, trying to play it down the line for Madueke, a bit too much on it though. Dawson, the aforementioned, inside his penalty area, plays it in toward Lamina. He's been hassled by Joao Felix and couldn't quite win the ball back off him. 77 minutes on the clock. Again, we're going to have a lot of stoppage time at the end here. Lemina plays it right-hand side for Doherty. Doherty on halfway, scored in this fixture last year, proved to be decisive as well. Made it 2-0. Christopher Nkunku opened his Chelsea account with the last kick of the game. Foul by Fofana there will give Wolves a free kick, middle of the pitch, middle of Chelsea's half.
A bit rash there from Fofana. He's had a good second, as all the players have.
He'll be feeling it now, right, around this stage of the game, having not played much competitive football.
Yeah, it's been a nice second half though, hasn't it? You know, the first half there was far more asked of our back line than there has in this second half. Really, Sanchez has had nothing to do in this second half. And subsequently, the back line haven't been worked as hard.
Sarabia, marking non-existent, and Wolves get a goal from it. Mario Lemina thumps one in.
This has got to change. These free headers that keep happening. Oh, this goal.
Hang on.
This can't keep happening, Matt.
Is it going to be chalked off? It's been disallowed for now. We'll have to wait and pick the bones from it. But again, it was a set piece which provided, firstly, a free header for the assist, and then Lemina with the freedom of Molineux to thump it in, albeit, as it stands, the goal will not. Yeah, Totti Gomez offside.
He's offside. He's definitely offside. Okay.
Let's change it. Perfect offside trap. Brilliantly worked.
No, but that's fine. But this is not the first occasion, and he's unlucky there.
Hell of a strike from Lemina on the. Oh, it came off Dewsbury Hall actually. Doesn't matter. No, it's not going to count.
No.
But there are still lessons to be learned from this game.
You can't help but think that they go away and talk about good things. Yeah, he's offside. You can see the cut of the grass.
We're going to have semi-automated offside technology at some point this season. Laughably, the company who won the bid for it haven't got it ready in time. So what should have taken 10 seconds is now taking 2 minutes instead.
Thankfully, this is quite an open and shut case, isn't it? It's easily rectified.
Oh. Dear, Enzo Fernandez has had to. Oh well, again, Wolves player got a touch to put it behind for a goal kick.
But again, you would ask him, I know this playing out for the back. It's such. You literally, your butt clenches, doesn't it? You go, oh.
The purpose behind it is that you're likely to turn over possession if you just smack it up to halfway. I do get that, yes. But if you do give it away playing out from the back, the consequences can be catastrophic. Here's Dewsbury Hall. Played it into Palmer. Nice ball. Palmer down the line for Neto. This would really rub salt into the Wolves' wounds. He squared it back for João Felix to make it 6-2 to Chelsea. What a brilliant goal that was from front to back, and the finish from Felix. Neto, his mate, set it up for him, and Felix thumped it into the top corner. That is a sensational goal, and Chelsea have hit Wolves for 6.
What a beautiful team goal. And that's the point that we were just talking about from playing out from the back, Matt. You made it. If you go long, you lose the ball, and there's a high percentage. This is perfectly executed. Brilliant ball. Every player on this left-hand side playing his part. It's a lovely little ball into Enzo. Plays the ball into Pedro Neto. He continues his run. Now he's trying to find a pass. Cuts it back. Felix walks onto it just on the edge. Well, on the penalty spot, essentially. Guides it home, good connection. Palmer involved as well. We're going to score some goals this season, by the way. We will do this to teams, but it's also the other end. It's getting the balance right. But boy, enjoy this. 6-2 to Chelsea.
What an incredible second half we've seen here. Chelsea have scored 4 times in it. 2-2 at half-time. Wolves didn't bother showing up for the second half. And Chelsea have been class. There's more afters going on. Chelsea don't need to get involved in this now. Colwell and Palmer arguing amongst themselves, but that all seems to have been quickly resolved. Wolves supporters heading for the exits in their droves. It's been a long time coming. Chelsea have enjoyed themselves at Molineux, but those who are there in the away end, well, they quite like being in Wolverhampton today.
By the way, there's still time for a 7th or a 3rd, depending which way you want to look at it. Palmer, got his fingerprints all over that goal as well. He's involved in a lot, isn't he, going forward, Palmer?
Servette and Crystal Palace will be watching on nervously. Nottingham Forest, who are Wolves' next opponents in the Premier League, might be licking their lips at this. They've got Burnley coming here in the League Cup before that on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's a bad defeat for them, this. This was a game that at half-time they were still very much in it. As a Chelsea supporter, I have to say I was a little fearful of what the second half might produce. But no, we've been outstanding going forward, absolutely outstanding. Every player doing his job. Casado better. Palmer's coming off. He's getting an absolute standing ovation, and so he should. Cucurella also.
So here come the changes. Cucurella, Palmer off, and Renato Vega and Christopher Nkunku on. How's this for Cole Palmer on a day when Noni Madueke's got a hat-trick? Palmer's got maybe, and I mean maybe because there's been some great ones, the goal of the game, and a hat-trick of assists.
His fingerprints all over this game. You know, he's such an important player to us. And he also had a massive, massive say. He won't get the credit because, of course, Pedro Neto will for the goal for Felix, but he was the pass before the pass.
Oh, why didn't Gareth Southgate play him more often in the summer? Oh well, we've got him, and we've got him for a long time yet. Christopher Nkunku on for the final 7 minutes plus stoppages.
Yeah, and I said when Felix come on, what a lovely game to come on to. You might get a goal, and he does.
Felix then beaten in the air by his opposite number, Mosquera. Wolves all over the place. They're playing about 5 up front and 2 in midfield at the moment. And Nkunku on the chase here up against Mosquera, who goes back to Jose Sarr. Don't know when the last time Wolves conceded 6 goals at home was, but there will be an inquest into what's happened in the second half here for the home team, because they've been crushed by Chelsea, who've been excellent.
Great word, crushed. Absolutely. It's been men v boys in this second half, and we watched the first half, Matt. It wasn't like that. But credit to the boys.
And credit to Enzo Maresca, yes, surely, too.
Yeah, he did. He made a change. And you know what? Like I said, when we went to those 2 goals clear, I don't quite know how much of an involvement you feel that gets caught there as a throw into the ball. I don't know that you can actually say how much Pedro Neto, up until that point there, that has a real influence in the game. But it's...
But therefore, is it something that the coach has said to the players, which is likely to have made this change? We'll never know, is the truth, but...
Well, it'll be interesting to hear. What did you say at half-time?
Doherty trying to cross, comes off his old pal Neto and behind for a Wolves corner. And you get the impression that those who've stayed in old gold are staying so they can vent their spleens,
yes,
whenever the whistle blows for the final time.
Opening game of the season at home, and there are going to be some boos echoing around Molineux.
It's going to be 2 games played, no points, and at the moment 8 goals conceded. It's not a good start. Over it comes, straight into the gloves of Sanchez.
Good, roll it.
Rolled it out quickly to Malo Gusto. Didn't quite have the pace that Gusto could run onto it, but Gusto easily away there from his man Mosquera. Good block from Joao Gomez to stop him from crossing it.
Yeah, don't foul, you want to book him.
Here's Totti in the left-back position at the moment. Gives it to Mosquera. And he has to smack it out of play for a throw. And that yes that you heard an applause was from Enzo Maresca, who is being warned for the millionth time today by Rob Jones to stay in his technical area.
Well, the second half, if we can see more of the second half performances under Enzo Maresca than we saw in the first, if we see more of this, then I've got to tell you, we are in for an absolute treat. Well, it would appear anyway, for the first half, there's going to be exciting times and some worrying times in equal measure. But I've got to say, second half, we have been utterly outstanding.
Here's Podence for Wolves. Feel a little punch drunk watching this. Can't imagine how the Wolves supporters are feeling. Ball played out left-hand side now for Rodrigo Gomez. Up against Gusto. Managed to get his crossing straight into the gloves of Sanchez. And Sanchez, I mean, he's had nothing to do second half, but he's got a pre-assist to his name. I think he's looked pretty steady today.
Yep, he's done all right, you know. Had no real... The only thing is selection of passes when there's those straight balls. Angle balls are much better. When you're playing a straight ball and a player's coming to it, he can't see what's behind him. They're horrible balls to risk.
Oh, given away. Jorgen Strand-Larsen could have got his second there, and he's played it wide. And again, reminders that Chelsea still have plenty to do on the defensive side of the game.
Yeah, Colwell this time playing that. There's a straight ball again, Matt. They're horrible. This time Dewsbury Hall gets it wrong. Dewsbury should do better. It's not the worst straight ball in the world because he's got no one up his backside. But when you've got to play that first time, when you receive the ball at an angle, you can see more of the pitch. The straight ones running back towards your own goal, they're nasty. The best players in the world, you know, even them at times will you know, you don't really want to receive them. Sometimes you make a run, Matt, not to receive it, but to make space in behind. It's lovely though from Felix.
He's inside right position over halfway. Oh, he got his pass wrong though, looking for Dewsbury Hall. Looks as though Bournemouth have won it late on against Bournemouth. Dango Ouattara at 90+3 has made it 2-1 against Newcastle. That is an awful long way to go and lose in stoppage time from Newcastle to Bournemouth.
Yes,
Crikey.
Yes, they were left early, as did the Chelsea fans that I was following on social media, enjoying the first away trip of the season. And they've been in good voice, and they've gone in the thousands as well. So you can hear right now the Chelsea fans say, ball given away, chance for Nkunku.
Oh, lovely piece of skill from Nkunku to take him away from Mosquera. He's at the edge of the penalty area now, looking for room for a shot. Nkunku, Mosquera pushed him. Nkunku stays strong, gives it to Felix. Felix with his left foot looking for his second, deflected behind for a corner.
Well, Pedro Neto wanted the ball. I think that Nkunku wants to go on the inside and then play the ball out. Mosquera does enough, just does enough to make sure that that pass isn't made. Felix has the shot, they're all over the place, Wolves. I mean, if we got a seventh here, it would not surprise me one little bit.
Chance to do that from the corner with 88 minutes played. Wolves 2, Chelsea 6. Incredible game of football. First half punctuated by error after error by both sides. Second half, Chelsea have been brilliant. Enzo Fernandez and Neto over the corner. It's clearly something the new set-piece coach has implemented, that you have two players over the corner.
One, you know. They have.
Neto gave it to Fernandez. He gets a better angle for his cross, put it into a good area, but headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Picked up by Gusto. Twisting and turning.
Yeah, they perhaps could have taken that a little bit further, you know. Sanchez.
Trying to switch it out to Neto. Picked up by Renato Vega in midfield.
Does all right, you know.
Oh, he's done brilliantly, Renato Vega, and now he's at the edge of the penalty area and he feeds it to Neto. Left-hand side, just inside the box, looking for room for a shot. Renato Vega carried on his run. Neto stood it up far post, looking for Felix, headed away as far as Gusto. Here's Madueke again. You can understand why he shot. He probably should have got that on target, to be fair, but it went wide.
Yeah, and a nice smile from him. He's been brilliant. He'll take man of the match, and rightly so. Should have done better, really. It's on his right foot. I know it's not his favourite foot, but he scored 3 of the last 4 goals with his right foot.
That Dango Ouattara goal was disallowed. The ball hit him on the top of the arm, apparently, as he went up for the header. And it was ruled out by VAR as Mario Lemina trudges off the pitch. There's still 1-1 between Bournemouth and Newcastle. In front of a half-empty Molineux here. Lemina makes his way off. And looks pretty fed up about it as he goes off. And Tommy Doyle, who I am obliged to tell you, both his granddads scored in the League Cup final for Manchester City in 1970. Can you name either of them? Before my time, as we're going to 8 minutes of stoppage time. Mike Doyle and Glyn Pardo.
Okay, Mike Doyle. I wouldn't know Glyn Pardo, but Mike Doyle rings a bell.
That's mad, though, isn't it? Both his granddads scored in the League Cup final for the same team.
Yes, that is rather bizarre. Yep.
Well, he's not going to enjoy his 8-minute cameo here, particularly, I don't think. Here's Felix. Inside his own half, ridden a couple of challenges. He's got his goal, Jason, but he looks up for it, Joao Felix.
Look, the boy's talented. There is absolutely no doubting what the boy's got under the bonnet. At times there were times I wish it's that final pass, that selection again. But he may be a different player under a different coach. I mean, it must be so exciting to come into this Chelsea team right now, because there is so much promise. Yes, there's a lot of hard work, and there's, in terms of experience, that's something that I feel that the squad lacks. Certainly since the seen Kovalev, Azpilicueta, Silva, those players, they had a real, they were like a father figure to some of these players. Sterling's leaving. It looks like Chilwell may be going. We're now looking at Nkunku, and the eldest statesman here. You certainly wouldn't call that a leader. So you need players in this squad, young players, to step up and lead by example and help a lot of this other squad here. Colwell is one of those.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez, who was on the ball there. Madueke almost squeezed it through to Nkunku. So Nkunku is playing as the striker now after his arrival. Gusto's header.
He's had a good second half as well. He's been far more. It's been a bit more of a complete performance from everyone, he included. He's not when he's that inverted fullback. We haven't been as open. Wolves have been off it. We've been much better, but he's one of those. His performance second half has been so much better. Chelsea are laying now.
Still 6 minutes of stoppage time for Wolves to suffer through here. Chelsea enjoying themselves.
Yeah, this is a
bit odd to have 8 minutes of stoppage time in a game where there's a 4-goal margin, but the officiating's been a bit skew-if all day. 1-1 it finished between Bournemouth and Newcastle. And I'm glad we're watching this game and not that one. Madueke for Gusto. Chance for a 7th maybe on the break here for Chelsea. Gusto hammering down the right wing. All sorts of options for him, but he only picked out Doyle with his pass.
Terrible. Look, I've just picked him up. I'm going to have a pop in there. What a dreadful, dreadful pass. He had 4 in the box to choose from. He cuts it back to Wolves. He's been good, as I said, second. I'm not going to give him too much stick. Went out of play. Not a Madueke. Brilliant from him.
Fantastic tackle.
Yeah, the Chelsea fans away, as you mentioned at the beginning of the game, if you know Molineux, it's always that far side. Chelsea fans got to have the whole bottom tier appreciating Nona Madueke's work.
And there's been some talk amongst Chelsea supporters about how to bond with this new team with so many new players in it. Scoring 6 goals away from home is a really good way to do that, because your away support is your hardcore, isn't it? And if you impress them, they'll bring it back to the bridge.
Yep, and they'll continue to come in their thousands. They're the ones that they spend their, not that you don't at home games, but then you're travelling. It would have been a long day for those boys and and women. They've thoroughly enjoyed themselves at Molineux.
Here's Rodrigo Gomez, blocked by Enzo Fernandez. Felix now turn it round looking for Dewsbury Hall.
There's not a goal in this game, then. Am I being greedy, man?
I don't think so. Why not? I can't remember the last time Chelsea hit 7 on the road. And there's Renato Vega. Wolves have completely given up the ghost here. It's like Chelsea playing against half a team.
Yeah, their soul has been completely crushed. There's no fight. There's no closing down. I've been in games where you've been led by 3 or 4 goals. You know the game's up, but I've been on both sides, and it's horrible, Matt, because you know the game's over.
Dewsbury Hall. Fernandez, everybody's touch is good now. Felix has got the freedom of Wolverhampton to run into here.
4v3.
He's going straight down the middle. Joao Felix gives it. Oh, he should have given it left-hand side.
That's a part of his game that I felt in the first time he was here. Now I'm not going to criticise him. It's his debut, and he scored a goal. But if that's 1-1, maybe he'd get it right 1-1. Maybe there's a bit more urgency to get it right. But he's been good since he's come on as well.
Here's Sarabia for Wolves at the edge of the Chelsea box, out to Doherty, ball into the penalty area. Colwill plays it back against Doherty, who hooked it back across goal, and there was a foul on Sanchez. And Chelsea get a free kick. We've got 3 minutes to go.
Yep, it's just end this game now, isn't it, really?
Jackson, Palmer, Madueke hat-trick, and Felix the goal scorers for Chelsea. Cunha and Strand Larsen scored for Wolves, but that feels like a lifetime ago.
Doesn't it just? Yeah, Molineux is emptying slowly but surely. It's been a tough afternoon for those home fans, that's for sure. Had something to cheer about, and for parts of the game they look very dangerous. But I have to say, the second half it has been just one-way traffic.
So few Wolves fans left, it's going to be difficult for Noni Madueke to find one to ask where's good to go out in Wolverhampton to celebrate.
Yes. I think somehow we'll be heading straight back to London.
Here's Doherty. Dewsbury Hall then commits a foul on Sarabia. Free kick to Wolves inside their own half. Doyle over the ball. Gave it short and square to Gomez. Here's Dawson now. I mean, I was going to say they're probably quite glad they've got a home game against lower league Oppo here in midweek, but that could be a banana skin for them, Wolves.
Been such soft free kicks, you know.
Oh, he's been poor, the referee. No doubt about that. It's a tough job, but he's not done it well today. Here's Doherty. Sarabia now for Wolves, looking to reverse one into Strand Larsen, who might not have kicked the ball in the second half. Ball over the top from Dewsbury Hall, asking Neto to chase. Mosquera, favourite, got there first. Just over a minute of this game left to go. Mosquera's route to his goalkeeper was cut off, but then he managed to work it back to Jose Sarr, who first time plays it straight to Enzo Fernandez.
Brilliant first touch from Enzo. He's been a little bit deeper second half, hasn't he, as well?
And looked much better for it, I'd argue.
Yes, he has. And I felt that was, and that's one of those little tweaks. I'd love to hear what Maresca did say to Enzo, because I felt that we were way too open, leaving Caicedo, who was having a bad game anyway, leaving him pretty much 1v1 or 2v1 at times, and Gusto wasn't quite getting in there to help. It's a lovely ball, nearly from Cole Willington. Dewsbury Hall just in this game now, ref. Come on.
Strand Larsen here. Yeah, Chelsea have seen Caicedo go off. We don't want any other injuries. Strand Larsen
He's been
has his
good,
pocket
you know,
pick.
Enzo second half as well. I know that you can probably pick your choice.
Play goes on, even though it looked like Fernandez was fouled, and then a shot comes in from downtown, which Robert Sanchez is able to grab, and that really ought to be that. Well, 9 changes for this game. Probably get another 9 for Servette away on Thursday, but they will be quaking in their clogs watching this.
Madueke is going to be the one that gets all the headlines, and rightly so, I suppose, in some ways. You score 3 goals. He was devastating, and that is it.
Final thoughts then, Jace. A brilliant first away game in the Premier League for Chelsea this season.
Yeah, bits to improve on. I think Enzo will know that more than most, because a second half performance like that was devastating. But at half time, this game was still very much in the balance, and it really did feel that Wolves could attack and score at any time. The same could be said for us, first half. Second half, if we can see more of that, by the way, there is something very, very special we can look forward to. A lot of work to be done still, but boy, have we got a talented squad. Hopefully we can see the very best of them like we did in the second half. But brilliant, brilliant away victory. Brilliant, brilliant away second half performance.
Can't wait for Thursday night. Madueke with a hat-trick, Palmer with a hat-trick of assists and a brilliant goal. Jackson and Felix bookending it. Final score, a stunned Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Chelsea 6.